Welcome to the Concierge CPA. I'm Jackie Meyer, founder of the Concierge Accountant Program and TaxPlanIQ software. This is a podcast for accounting firm owners and influencers who are pursuing world-class service. We discuss their path to excellence, their daily habits, and what influences them and their work. We believe that every person has a unique message that can positively impact the world. Stick around till the end of the show. We'll reveal how you can be our next guest. Let's go, y'all. Welcome to the Concierge CPA podcast. I'm Jackie Meyer, and I have Alton Bell with me today, and he is one of my top favorite students when it comes to coaching in the past. He's also a TaxPlanIQ user, and I'm currently coaching him again, actually, in advanced tax planning. So we get to see each other quite a bit, almost weekly, and it's really fun to interview real accountants that are in the trenches, have a family, have real life stuff going on. And so I'm really excited to talk to you today about all of that. So welcome. Fill everybody in a little bit more about you, your family. I know you work with your sisters. You're in Chicago, right?
Yes. Thank you, Jackie, for inviting me on here. As you mentioned, founded this firm back in 2008, Bell Tax Accountants and Advisors. I'm here on the south side of Chicago, just south of Hyde Park. That's where the University of Chicago is. I co-founded it with my sister, Andrea, and I also have another family member, my sister, Angela, who is an accountant as well. We specialize in small business accounting, doing the bookkeeping full service, all the way to the tax return. And also, now that I'm in TaxPlanIQ, we do the tax planning to help them save, because, with the business owners, one thing that you can provide is tremendous value in helping them build wealth. They depend on us they depend on their business to live out their dreams, retire, send the kids to college, buy homes, all that good stuff. Sure. And obviously we do tax returns. We still do 1040s. I know the industry is shifting away from that, but I still think there's a tremendous market, especially in the minority market, to provide great service in that area. Mm-hmm. I mean, you still have a multi-billion-dollar company that's traded publicly that still does that. So I still want to get a piece of that pie.
There you go.
Married 14 years in October, 2 boys, 6 and 10. My lovely wife, DeWan, who is a State Farm insurance agent. So our businesses are kind of complementary. She's actually next door, so that all works out. And then Luke and Levi, my 6 and 10-year-old, very busy. I'm an overpriced chauffeur, basically taking them to travel,
right?
To travel baseball practice.
You do love to travel yourself too. I mean, I know y'all just did. Where did y'all go? Hawaii, or was it somewhere?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
cool.
We went to Maui last summer. We went to Munich and Greece.
Wow.
So yeah.
Did you take
this
the
industry?
Kids, or
this industry is tough.
Yeah. Was it just y'all, or did the kids come with you on the trips?
The kids didn't come for the
trips. Yay. That's even better. That's what I thought, but just making sure. Yeah. Okay. So many questions. Has growing this accounting firm been a smooth ride? Has it been super bumpy? Like, how would you explain your experience and kind of like lessons learned along the way?
If any entrepreneur tells you that it's been a smooth ride, I'm not sure if they're really telling the truth.
Right.
It's just hard to believe. My accounting degree, I majored in accounting, but my first career path was in audit. I didn't have the passion for it. I knew I needed to do something better. So during that time I started, my sister was graduating college. And I'm like, hey, let's start a Kelly practice. So when she first came home from school to go to college, she was one of the first employee number one, obviously.
Nice.
And, we started off just doing 1040s.
Okay.
1040s, and we grew it to that. And then, as business continued to grow, and as your colleagues start to grow and get, earn more money, start businesses, they start looking to you for that expertise. And that's why I moved over to the bookkeeping and providing that full CAS, as everyone says, client and accounting service, to my business.
Okay. So how much did you charge for like your first 1040s? I'm always curious.
Oh, wow. Man, back in those days, 2008, it was probably like, anything over $200 was a lot then. Right?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I'll admit, I charged $150 for like the first 1040s I ever did. So yeah, don't be embarrassed.
You buy $25, $175.
$25. Yeah, I know, right? It's like you got to do what you got to do as an entrepreneur. So what piqued your interest in tax advisory, and like how do you define tax advisory? Because I think most people, not even accountants, understand exactly what we do,
Well, it's a lot that goes into it, but
right.
But really from a tax advisory standpoint, I try to look at, their income and how they're gaining their income, and then their lifestyle, because you can build a tax plan around the way they're living. If they have kids, can you incorporate the kids into the business? Yeah. Do they like real estate? Do they own real estate? Can we tie that in to do some type of cost segregation, something of that matter?
Love it.
Is it an S Corp? Is it a C Corp? All these things to help save on taxes can help grow your wealth. We forget about this, or a lot of people forget about this when it comes to just entrepreneurs. They retire. You have a lot of entrepreneurs that retire with just a lack of adequate savings in retirement.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we're the heroes when it comes to that, because every entrepreneur I speak with, I'm like, hey, when you come on board with me, when we do our quarterly meetings or our annual tax planning meetings, I'm going to ensure that you have some type of retirement plan in place. Like, I'm going to do the tax savings, but I want to make sure when you finish doing all this entrepreneur stuff for the years that you have some money saved up so you can retire safely.
Yeah. The statistics are pretty awful, especially for millennials now, on how much savings people have. I think it's like under like $500 average or something. It's really crazy. I remember some clients, even high net worth clients I worked with at my firm, would be like, retirement planning? I don't believe in retirement planning. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, you're not going to retire or what? Like, what's the deal? But yeah, there's a lot there. So, what do you enjoy doing the most in your practice?
What I enjoy most is, one is the biggest thing is the business clients, helping them. Once you show them the actual dollar amount that they save, and that's the big thing that I like about TaxPlanIQ, is you're able to pull out this report and say, this is how much money you're going to save over the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And some of the looks on their face, they're just like, they're just so grateful. And I've gotten great gifts for that.
Nice.
So that's one of the most impactful things. And then the second thing I would say is developing my employees. I love employees that come on board, that's tied in with your vision and mission. It just helps you and grow.
Love it. Yeah. Okay. So showing the tax savings. All right. I get that. And working with business owners. I love it. Okay. Do you niche at all, or do you just kind of take general businesses across the board?
We do. We semi-niche, and it's helpful. So some of the industries that majority, if I look across my businesses, is mental health therapists, daycares, dentists, and state farm agents, because my wife is a state farm agent. So
yeah,
I hear that. I know that business in and out. Pillow talk and just going over to her business and everything else. So
yeah. Cool. So I didn't realize you did mental health. I love that. Um,
Yeah.
oh, I remember what I was
That
going to say.
industry has skyrocketed since COVID.
COVID.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I had one or two before COVID. And then, their businesses just kind of took off and, they're all within the same center of influence. And, the referrals were crazy after that. And it's pretty straightforward. It's, and they're great to work with because mental health clinicians, they're trained to listen, right? They listen
Yeah.
to their client. And so you don't have like this arrogant, whatever type of corporate exec or whatever executive or high net worth person.
Yeah. I love
They
that.
really
Yeah.
listen and take heed to whatever advice you're giving. And the next time you meet with them, they're actually took place. They put it in place. So I'm just like, man, these ladies are great to work with.
That's cool.
It's
Yeah.
been a joy.
There's certain industries I kind of refuse to work with just because I had one bad experience, like with an attorney or a doctor, because yeah, they can be a little into themselves and think that they know better than everybody else. But of course, we know everything, so they need to listen to us. Um, yeah. But circling back to the tax savings you can show the taxpayer and client, I do want to mention I'm really excited about this. I'm working with AICPA right now to kind of mass release the ROI method of value pricing, which is the visualization that we do in TaxPlanIQ. And this is really, I think, revolutionary for our industry because it's pricing up front to align the results for the client. And accountants have so much going on. It's so hard to get them to focus on this value added proposition around tax advisory. Clients are so scared about the word tax and planning and putting those together. And so the method is just makes things so easy. Like you said, I mean, they're like, well, why wouldn't I do this? Right. So I'm really, really excited about that. I'm hoping we get something out this year, but, the AICPA is a little slow. So we'll see.
I mean, CPAs, EAs, accountants, we're difficult to shift. So that mindset of shifting is very difficult. I mean, and I was one of them. Before I got into increasing my prices or charging by value, or just realizing that the value that I bring, it takes you a minute to go from that mindset set shifting to say, hey, this is what I got to charge. I can't charge. I have people call asking about $200 tax return. I'm like, no, that's impossible. That's something we don't do. Even if I have an intern, they're not doing a $200 tax return for you.
Right.
It's just not happening. And even with the business owners, like, they try to come in and want to do it once a year, QuickBooks cleanup and all that. I'm like, there's no value in it. So let's try something else different.
Yeah, for sure. Do you use a lot of interns?
I typically have one every year.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. I had two a few years ago and loved them. They bring like such a fresh perspective to the work. And then I totally forgot about it. And then we tried to recruit again and couldn't really find anyone local. Have you had trouble recruiting for interns?
Yeah, well, it's always difficult, but you have to plug in with the local university and see. One thing I do like about them is I guess in this era, they kind of grew up taking classes on Zoom. So I pretty much recorded on Zoom how to do a 1040 for them.
Nice.
And it was amazing. Like, wow, like this is great. Like this, this one intern, she was pumping them out like just pumping them out like candy.
Wow, like, that's awesome.
Yeah, like you just giving it to her and she was scanning them, pumping them out. And I'm just like, look, I'm like, oh, wow, like this really does work. So that was one way I was able to manage it to keep, because, 1040s will distract you from the big thing of tax planning, of what you try to provide to some of those high net worth clients and also the business owner. So
sure. Yeah, they're like a necessary evil for all of us, but it is what it is. And there's really cool ways to identify the tax strategies from the 1040. So I appreciate the 1040 for that side of things, I suppose. Now, I saw on your LinkedIn that you were involved and probably still are with a particular community organization around like minority stuff. What are you doing with that?
So it's probably the Callahan Foundation. I'm a
Okay,
scholarship
yeah.
chair. I'm the scholarship chair there. I've been a scholarship chair for 11 to 12 years, I want to say. So
Wow.
yeah. So we raise money for inner city students to provide college
Oh,
support
I
and
love
aid.
that. I love that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
how many students have y'all been able to help?
Oh my gosh. I think we're up to over 80 students now.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
hmm Yeah.
Okay.
It means a lot to me because I graduated from Southern University in Baton Rouge, which is HBCU, and I was a first generation graduate.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to school, I didn't know I hadn't even filled out the financial aid, the FAFSA. I hadn't filled that out. I just, I thought it was for like high school. You put on the payment plan and you're in school. I traveled. I went
Right.
all the way to Baton Rouge, and they didn't have any money to enroll. So basically, I stopped the vice chancellor of financial aid for a couple weeks and just let them know, like, hey, I'm not going back to Chicago unless I have a degree. And they figured out a way to help me get through college. And I'm like, once I have the opportunity, I want to help any person who has a need to go to college, who has the dreams.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah.
I love that. I love that. And I love like the courage that you had to, stalk them. I semi-stalk people all the time. I'm like, you're either with me in this idea, we're going to innovate together, or, I'm going to do it without you, whatever. But I mean, that's what you got to do to like get your dreams to come true, right? You got to
Yeah.
ask and you got to have the courage. So that's cool. Yeah, I just realized the other day, like I was thinking back, I've worked full time since I was like 18, and I started working when I was 15 at Marble Slab, scooping ice cream. And so I'm not ready to retire, Alton. I'm not ready to retire. This is a lot. But yeah, I mean, I feel your pain. I got a ton of student loan debt, ended up with like 80 to 90K student loan debt in college. And then so lucky when I started my CPA firm, I was able to pay it off within 1 year. It was amazing. And like, I just felt like I was on top of the world with the opportunities that you
Nice.
could get in our industry.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man. That's amazing to be able to do something like that.
Thank you. Thank you. But just as
And
cool
then
as
you
what you
sold it. You
did.
sold the firm now, right?
Yes, I did. I sold in 2022. I decided to create this, tax planning software, and now who knows what the heck I'm doing. So I just keep getting new ideas every day. I love innovating, and it's so hard for me not to like run with all these ideas, but then I get burnout, And so I have to balance myself. My husband keeps me so balanced. I don't know. Does your wife help keep you balanced?
Yeah. I mean, without my wife, I'm not sure where I'll be. This
Amen.
entrepreneur roller coaster. You feel like you're the smartest person on earth one day. And then the next day, you're like, what was I thinking when I did this?
Right? Yeah.
So yeah, my wife is just definitely been supportive and just been the sugar in my coffee, as
Oh,
you would say. Yeah.
oh, that's sweet. I say that Mark is like my rock. I feel like he's like always just been stable when I'm like kind of like all over the place. And so
hmm
it just keeps things moving in like a positive direction. The other day I asked him like, "Hey, do you think I'm doing better with like work-life balance?" "I think I'm doing better." And he's like, "No, you're not. You just came up with this new spin-off business idea and you're about to like waste a ton of time on it." I was like, "Crap."
Well, you need him to give you the real, right?
Exactly. Oh, yeah. I need that transparency for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you feel like you have balance between like work and life and the kids? Are you like, you said you're a chauffeur. Are you doing tons of sports or what?
Yes. I mean, the two boys, I'm very involved with them. I coach their flag football teams. And then with their travel baseball, I had to stop coaching that because the younger one got involved. So now our family are split going each way. But I wouldn't say balance. I would say integrate, Jackie.
There you go. Yeah.
You have to figure out how to integrate, and that comes with communication between both spouses to know what's going on. Like we have this technology of calendars. And so I'm like, hey, I just put it on the calendar. What's going on? What we got going on? We check and cross-reference. And my kids know what I do for a living. They know what their mom does for a living. And we integrate this. And, I make sure that we get that balance, as you mentioned earlier about us, the travels that we took, we always have travels, just me and my wife. We have travels with the boys as well. And then one thing that I like that I do here at my firm is I'm not sure if you've ever been to Chicago or the Windy City, but in the summertime, it's fabulous. Downtown, lakefront.
Yeah, I've been when it's cold and windy, but not in the summertime. Yeah. But our salesperson at TaxPlanIQ, Brandon, he lives in Chicago, so I should hook Bill up. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to connect.
Yeah, for sure. He's awesome.
Yeah, we don't work on Fridays.
That's good.
We don't work on Fridays. Only during tax season we have Fridays. After that, May through November, we're closed on Friday. Because I remember, going to this corporate job, and I used to see people on the lakefront like riding bikes and running and walking. I'm like, man, that is so nice. I wish I could do that in a weekday.
Yeah.
And now that I have that, I'm like, you know what? You guys work hard during the tax season. Give me you don't have to work on Friday. That's it. And so, the clients know it, everyone know it. And it's just good and healthy. I'm not sure if you read articles or listen to podcasts about how unhealthy busy season can get for CPAs and accountants, but it can get ridiculous. And I just want everyone to be in a great space mentally and physically and emotionally.
For sure. Yeah. I just saw on LinkedIn, Logan Graff posted how toxic is our industry when you are planning when you have children around busy season. And I was like, guilty. Because you've probably heard this story. I literally planned both of my children to have them in December so that it wouldn't be right in the middle of busy season. And I was like, oh, this is genius, right? But then when he puts it like that, you're like, oh gosh, this was awful, awful idea. But hey, they still came out there good. Did y'all do any planning like that? Or was your wife like, hey, we're going to do our own thing here?
I think I had it in the back of my mind. Both my boys are summer babies. July 30th and August 30th. So I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't fall between January and April, so I'm good to go. But it doesn't matter. Once they're here, infants and toddlers,
it never ends, right?
Yeah, they're going to be sick. Something's going to come up.
Yeah, for sure. So tell me a little bit more about what you like to do with your family and how you integrate the personal stuff with busy season. What are some tips that you've learned along the way of how to make sure you have good boundaries?
I think one thing I did learn the first course I think I took with you and Chuck is just scheduling out your day.
Yeah.
And putting out some hard times. I'm a person, when it comes to in the morning, I like to do my deep work or deep thinking in. So I don't do Zoom meetings in the morning until after 2:00.
Oh,
okay. Because before then it's just I need to be flushing out something in my mind. I need to be reviewing or whatever it is. That's kind of a model that I stick to when it comes to that. So that's one boundary. And then now I take the understanding of we only have our kids up until they're 17. And so I'm just this is the season of my life that I'm just going to have to take some naps and spend as much time with them as possible.
Yeah.
and we can figure out the rest later when it comes to this business, because I don't want them hating me.
Right. Yeah, I'm starting to feel that pressure a lot too, like even way more so than when they were babies because my kids are a similar age, 7 and 10, and they're forming their own personalities and they're doing their own thing. And like last night, I like wanted to hang out and they wanted to do their own thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, have I lost them already? Like, but they're used to mommy working a lot or sleeping or, all those crappy things they say about you on the Mother's Day cards, like my mom sleeps a lot or takes a lot of baths or works a lot, and it's like very like damning. But this is definitely I think the time to like make sure that you're connecting with them. Okay, so time blocking, tell us more about that. Like if people are like, what does that really mean? What does your daily schedule look like?
My daily schedule, I try to get up about 5:30 in the morning. Uh, you know, you know, say a prayer, check the phone. It's almost a habit of checking the phone now, which is probably not a good thing. Go get a workout, come back, drop the kids off, get dressed, get to the office, check emails, for the first 30 minutes. I have a hard cutoff for that email.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah. If it's busy season, I probably don't even check it to the end of the day because it'll throw me off what I had planned for the day.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. It always does, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so different day, like Mondays, I do no meetings at all. Because, whatever took place the prior week, I need to plan or what I want to get accomplished for the week going into it. And then like during busy season, I have a day where I just pretty much do all reviews while I'm reviewing, business tax returns, 1040s or profit and loss statements for our business clients or something like that. Cause I'm still in production. And then I use Calendly a lot. Calendly has been very helpful in just making sure that things are time blocked. So, if people just have like, everyone has a quick question or inquiry. That's the paid session. Like in order to get on my calendar, you have to pay first.
For sure. Yeah. I saw on your website, like you're like that letter that you write at the bottom of your homepage. It's like, let's be real here. You're like, I'm going to be direct. I love that because I love being direct too. You're like, taxes are hard, but you're overpaying and we can help you. And I'm like, genius. I love it. So what would you say like your competitive advantages are compared to like the firm down the road?
Several. So, one, I have kind of like a retail space where people can walk in off the street. And so when you look at those in the community, those places are not even open year round. And when it comes to the mom and pop shops, they don't have this person to act as a CFO or a trusted advisor to help them reach their goals. All the quasi quote unquote CPAs or tax planners are downtown in Chicago. They're in these high-rise buildings, hard to access. It's hard for clients to get there and park or just even meet with them, right? So, and they're probably servicing some big corporations. But I'm on Main Street. So I'm here to provide those mom and pop companies to help them get from, 100,000 to a couple million. Along the way, we're saving taxes along the way to build wealth. So that's one great competitive advantage that I always pride myself off of. And then when it comes to just 1040s, I see so much throughout the year. We always get these people where we need to clean up or fix something. We're here. But they also have a realization that you got to pay the price to get the proper service as well. And so that's another battle that I fight. But at the same time, I have no shame about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you do, because we all do. You probably get a lot of people that come in the door and say, oh, everybody's a tax planner. I thought, my old accountant was doing tax planning for me for $200. And you're like, yeah, no, that wasn't tax planning. So there's a huge education component to the value that you bring to the table versus, anybody down the road. I was trying to come up with a statistic around how many U.S. taxpayers we have. 170 million U.S. taxpayers. Mm-hmm. How many are probably overpaying in taxes? And I think it's probably 95%, if not.
Yeah, I think it's over 90%. Yeah. That's overpaying in taxes.
Yeah. So.
And one thing in the last class that was very helpful and was going over, the high earners of W-2, because I have clients that are these tech jobs, engineer, computer science, and they pay well, and they don't have other side businesses or real estate or things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
But going through TaxPlanIQ and looking at some things of taking advantage of the employee benefits that they have.
Nice.
And digging deep into there and seeing oh, wow, they really can save about $5,000 a year times 7 years.
Yeah, baby.
It's $35,000 plus put into the S&P 500. It's okay, so we typically give this away, and talk about it, but when you can actually show this value and put it in front of someone's face and say, this is the reason why, the 1040 is $1,000 compared to
right.
250, whatever
right.
Somebody was doing out of their house.
Yeah, for sure. No, those are great points. I'm trying to remember how we originally met. Was it at Engage, or did you just find me online, or how did we originally get connected? Do you remember?
I think I just signed up for the course, Jackie.
Okay, so just we just saw each other on social or something.
Facebook,
okay,
AFI. I think the county enforcers.
Yeah. So
and then you probably got my email and. You're a guerrilla marketer. And...
No. Well, we did have a bad marketing hire, and there were some too many emails that went out at one point, but not for you, not back in the day. Yeah. So yes, I like your website. I like how direct it is, and I like that you've got kind of a family business. I think that's super cool. Do you think your kids might get into this, or do you think they're going to do something totally different?
I don't know. I know my oldest at one point, my wife was like, he's going to leave that business to you. And he was like, Bell tax, all that is going to be for me.
Aww,
it's yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I had my son, doing these different breaks and things like that. The oldest, he comes in here, he files documents, whatever paper files we have. He does some shredding,
nice.
Preparing folders. So I put him to work. I mean, education is expensive. So I'm like, hey, you need to be on payroll and you need to pay your own tuition.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you need to come on in here, sir. Let's get to work. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't just preach to the clients to hire their kids. You got to do it yourself, right? I mean, I do the same. So why don't you, just in case people are listening that don't understand all the benefits of hiring your kids in your business, you want to tell them a little bit about that?
About the ins and outs of it? Or
what are all the benefits? Why should someone hire their kid? What all can they do with that? How does it help them?
Oh man, there's so many tremendous things.
Yeah.
So from a dollar standpoint, you can hire your kid up to, you can pay them what you want, a reasonable salary. So let's just say that. I know on social media, everything else, everyone goes for the $13,000 for the standard deduction. Mm-hmm. That's great and all. You would get that deduction, and it's actually a tax savings to whatever your tax bracket is. And then from a federal standpoint, they won't owe any federal taxes, but it depends on what state you're in if you have to pay state taxes. Because here in Illinois, that threshold's over $4,800. So once I go beyond that, my son does kind of have a state tax liability.
Okay.
which is small. But at the same time, while you're saving on your tax bill, you could be saving for their retirement. You can start a Roth for a Roth IRA or a
Mm-hmm.
traditional IRA and put that money in there for themselves. If your child is in private school, you don't get that great deduction as you should, paying that out personally. So if the child is getting paid, have them pay their own tuition, have them pay for their own travel baseball fees.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who has a child that plays travel baseball knows how expensive it is.
Right.
If they could be an employee and pay for it, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
what that's a pitch that I put there. And then, as they get older, it can teach them some financial discipline. Let's not give these kids everything.
Mm-hmm.
Let's teach them some financial education along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I like about it.
Do you worry that like your kids, you said you're kind of like first generation college, is that right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you worried that like your kids aren't going to ever really feel the pain of like not having money or like, like stuff like that? How do you like deal with that? I'm worried about that myself.
Yeah, me and my wife, we had these conversations about like, are they going to have the same grit that we had?
Yeah.
We both came from humble beginnings.
Okay.
Are they going to appreciate going through the difficult times of the humbling choices to get to where they are and appreciate the finer things in life? Both my children, especially my oldest, he's 10. He's only living in one house.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I was 10, I mean, we probably moved at least like 7 times.
Okay. Yeah.
So
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that aspect of it. Yeah.
yeah, so just they're living in totally different worlds, but we have discussions about it, about making wise decisions with money, instead of saying like, no, I don't have any money for that. I say, that's not a good reason to make that purchase. And I watch CNBC with them, and the ticker is going across.
Oh,
I'm like, what is that? And he's like, Roblox went up $2 today. I'm like, all right, great job.
Okay, cool. Oh, wow, I love that. If there was a show that I don't know if anyone else would be interested in this, but I love like seeing the intricacies of like how we interact with our kids, how people do their holidays differently, like the little things about it, like I would have never thought to watch CNBC with my kids. They would like be very upset with me, but that's probably a problem in itself because I've spoiled it. So yeah, I gotta get.
They're not
things
watching
straight.
full episodes. Like I have it on every morning when I'm cooking breakfast for them. And
Nice.
obviously, I try to limit the iPad. So before they eat and all that good stuff, let's watch this for a few minutes before you get into this app or whatever else device that they're about to get into. And they, by default, they just, if they're not paying attention, it's in their ear in the background noise or something.
Yeah.
Hear Kramer
Exactly.
or somebody.
Yeah. Okay. So before we kind of wrap up, I wanted to talk a little bit about how you feel like the economy is going, because I hear like the randomest things from being in industry and just people that I meet on the street. About it seems like there's a lot of like mid-market kind of layoffs right now. And it's really still hard to find people. And so I don't really know what to make of it. What do you think? What are you seeing?
I'm hearing some rumblings about that. One thing I am seeing is margins are getting tighter with some of my clients.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just figuring out how to operate more efficiently and making wiser decisions. Because I think, as things came out of COVID, that everyone's so cash flush and business went up so fast that they really wasn't paying attention. And like now, inflation with salaries and things of that nature has made it very important that you watch what you're doing from a financial standpoint. So we'll see. I mean, as a in our industry, I think, we're gonna be good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll be fine,
Either way
right?
it goes, as long as there's the election every 4 years, we're gonna be in business because the code is gonna change.
Yeah.
Um, if business is going up or down, people are gonna seek us out for advice. Business is up, how can I save on my taxes?
Mhm.
Business is down, what's going on with my numbers? And it, from a revenue standpoint to an expense standpoint that I need to consider. So either way it go, we still will be there to provide value. The biggest thing for me, I always watch the interest rates,
Oh, okay.
just to see. So yeah.
Yeah. What are interest rates like these days, Mr. CNBC?
They're like 7%, which is high. So it's
Ugh.
like, being me and the wife, we thought about, getting a new house or building a new house. And
Mhm.
it's like, we refinanced in 2021 at 2.8. And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't think we really want to give that up for 7%. Like, you know, and
Exactly.
and I think that's the sentiment across the nation
Mhm.
when it comes to that. So
Yeah, I mean, home values are soaring. Like our home value, I think, doubled here in Southlake, Texas. But of course, our real estate taxes are also doubling. So you're like, do I sell, like make some money off of that? But then everything else is so pricey, plus the new interest rate. It doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. But I mean, people that have lived a lot longer than us say that interest rates were way higher than 8, 9% back in like the 80s or something, right? Like I think they got up to like 15% and they thought that was normal. We just got spoiled with like 2, 3%, right? But
yeah,
yeah.
we did. Yeah, I don't want to give that mortgage rate up. I mean, I did a whole matrix of how much interest I would pay
Okay.
for home, and I'm just like, no. I'm like, this
Now
is
that's a
just
good accountant right there. See y'all, anyone watching, listening, this is a good accountant right here. He's got his matrix.
yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to discuss today or share before we wrap up?
Uh, well, yeah. We talked about it in class. I just purchased a business location. Is nearby, so we'll be moving in the early fall.
Yeah.
It's a great location. It's a real estate and tax play. So
Yay.
let me say that.
Yeah.
So it's a commercial space where I'll be able to put the office in because I'm ready now. And then also I have residential units on top where they basically be covering the mortgage and we have additional cash flow. So that helps with the overhead. And then also we'll be in a position to be able to do it cost segregation to save some money on taxes. So that's
Awesome.
the big thing that we got going on. I can't wait to show that to my clients and
Yeah.
new potential customers. So that's what's big that's going on. How about you, Jack? Because I know
That's
you're
really
busy.
cool.
How do you
Uh,
balance all this?
we're just chugging along. It's now our busy season because tax people are like looking into planning now. We just had a virtual summit. Were you able to hop onto that or no?
No,
Okay.
that was my Friday. I'm like, Jackie's doing this summit on my Friday.
Yeah,
It's
I
like the
know,
first warm
right?
day in Chicago. I'm just like, as much as I want to.
Yeah, you gotta take advantage of the nice weather. I get it, I get it. But yeah, we had over 1,000 people register for the summit, which was
Wow.
really exciting because, just the feeling that like people are ready and willing to dive into tax planning and really give it their all for their clients is just exhilarating. So, we've got so many changes coming in the software. It's crazy, like automations and whatnot. And then, of course, I have all these spin-off ideas, but I'm gonna just try to keep it to myself because I've got like 6 speaking events in the next 2 weeks that I need to plan for.
Mhm.
Are you going to Engage? This will come out after Engage, but what conferences are you doing?
I don't have anything planned
Oh, look at you, fancy
except for
pants.
PASBA. Only thing I got planned is PASBA. I'm a member of PASBA, so
Okay, yeah. So you've
yeah.
you've been in PASBA for a few years now, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
about 2
What would
years.
you, if accountants are listening, like how would you describe PASBA and like the benefits it brings to the table?
Um, PASBA has been awesome. They're very open with sharing ideas of the how-tos, right? So, those very unique questions of how to make sure you meet production from an accountant, they've been very, very open in sharing those ideas. It is, different organizations I've been in that talk about what they're doing, but they may not show you how or tell you how. And so that's one thing about PASBA has been very helpful for me from that standpoint. So, I spend a lot of money in professional development. I don't have no shame in that.
Yeah.
I went from initially, I read the EMF with Darren Root, and I joined RootWorks, and that kind of helped with my mind shift. And then I took the coaching course with you and Chuck, and that pretty much gave me this is whatever you're thinking in your mind, this is how you do it when it comes to, emails with DARBs and how to sell, blocking off on your calendar and things of that nature, how to carry yourself, how to conduct yourself when it comes to that. Then PASBA is from a big ongoing revenue servicing standpoint, they've been very open with that. And then to tie it all in with TaxPlanIQ has just been, I just see the sky's the limit from this point. And it's just been great.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. Yeah, it's been such a pleasure to kind of watch you growing in your path in the advisory side of things. It's always fun when, we get to work together for many years like this. So hopefully I continue to get to be a little piece of your journey, because you have an amazing practice, you have an amazing family, you're an awesome person. And, so it's a blessing to be a part of your life for sure.
Thank you. Same to you. I appreciate you, Jackie.
Thank you. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up for today. Alton, how do people contact you if they have a question or want to reach out or connect with you?
Oh, they can always go to my website, which is www.bell-tax.com. We're on the socials, Instagram, Facebook, Bell Tax Accountants. They can always call the office. I got an 855 number. It's 855-TAX-BELL.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, it's 855-829-2355. So I got that brand, 855-TAX-BELL. So there's numerous ways to reach out to us. Social media, phone call, website. Don't hesitate. If there's something that we can't help you with, we can direct you to that person, but we'll be sure to service you when it comes to income taxes, tax planning, accounting, and bookkeeping.
Love it.
They're the place to be. Yep.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody for watching or listening today. We appreciate you and have a great day. Bye for now.
Bye. Have a good one.
Thank you for listening to the Concierge CPA, hosted by TaxPlanIQ. We believe that every person has a unique message that can positively impact the world. If you are a successful accounting firm owner or influencer who would like to be on this program, please visit JackieMeyerCPA.com, JackieMeyer CPA.com to apply. Please share this on social media and rate us so we can continue our good work. Join our Facebook group called Accounting Firm Influencers, or connect with me on most platforms under Jackie Meyer CPA. Thanks for being accountable to transforming our industry today.